look really scary right now. It's 1:30 in the morning and I can't sleep per usual. It's kind of my fault though because I went to bed last night at 1 a.m. And then I woke up at like 6 a.m. and then I was up for a few hours and then I went back to bed and I slept till 12:30. Um, so yeah, I'm my own worst enemy in a lot of ways. But there were a few things that I wanted to talk about, and yeah, surprisingly, there's been some updates, even though it's been like 2 weeks since I posted a vlog. The other cool thing is this is my last vlog as a 21-year-old because I turned 22 on Thursday, so that's exciting. And my sister turns 30. We have the same birthday, so that's kind of interesting. We're not twins, obviously. But yeah, we have the same birthday. And then my niece turns 2. No, that's not right. 3 on Tuesday. Tuesday, yeah. So it's big birthday week. And then my dad's birthday, I think, is next week. Yeah, just set my family up for identity theft, but I don't know. But okay, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm awkward. Okay, so the biggest thing is I mentioned in my last vlog that I applied to a conference to present my work, and I just found out that I got accepted, so that was cool. It's in Wisconsin, and it's hosted by the University of Wisconsin, obviously, but it's called, I think the group that puts it on is NCUR, which stands for National Conference of Undergraduate Research. I'm sorry. I'm not tired. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, so, okay. But that was cool. I had a meeting for it on Friday, and my school's generous enough to cover all registration fees, travel expenses, so like plane ticket, hotel room, which is really kind of them. And there's a couple other kids from my school who got accepted too. So yeah, that's great, and it's a great opportunity. I don't know if I'm gonna go. I was feeling really like excited about it, and I think that was kind of evident in. I mean, I know I was kind of treating it as like, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, it's fine. But then when I got in, when I got in, I was excited, obviously, very excited. But I guess just over the last few days, I think with going back to school, for whatever reason, like even though I don't hate school, I think I actually I feel like I do well in academic settings, not even just like grade wise, but like socially, even if I don't have like a set group of friends on campus. Just because I don't know, with the way that I went about school, like transferring and during the pandemic, it was hard to kind of form those connections, and commuting too. But for some reason, yeah, whenever I'm in an academic setting still, I feel like empty and like it makes me anxious. And I remember walking to my class on Thursday, and I think it was Thursday, and I was like approaching the door and I was like, I should go home right now. And I literally almost turned around, and I didn't, obviously. But I don't know, I just thought that was funny. Sometimes you just gotta power through it, guys. And it sucks, but and you can't always do that, but that was one of those little moments where I was like, I can have a small victory right now, and I did, and I went to class and everything was fine. And I think the more of those little victories you get under your belt with anxiety, it makes things easier to manage. But yeah, so anyways, yeah, I guess I've just been feeling kind of like anxious, and two, I don't really know. I think part of it is I don't really know what they want me to do, because I think a lot of, at least I would say the majority of the other students, I'm just throwing a guess out there, from my school are presenting, they have like poster presentations, and I think it's more of like a gallery walk that you go around and people talk. So I'm not really sure what the film is gonna look like. I'm assuming it'd be set up in a room or a hall of some sort, so, and I don't know if they want me to like get up there and talk about it, which I think I'd be okay with. I've kind of gotten comfortable with like public speaking, and it's something that I've talked about before, but in much smaller environments in my documentary class. So, yeah, I don't really know, but I think my biggest thing is I'm just scared I'm not gonna get it done. And then with having like the school paying for stuff, that makes me more anxious, because it's like, what if I have to pull out and then they're gonna be pissed at me? So yeah, I'm just kind of nervous, and Two, like, and that's just like the logistic side of being like nervous. Emotionally, I'm nervous because again, I don't know how it's going to be received. And I think just, yeah, I think that's another reason why I've been a little bit more on edge recently. Just because with approaching the end of this project, or at least I know the film that I end up putting out, I don't think it's going to be like my magnum opus, if that makes sense. Like, it's not the idealized version of it that I had in my head, because I don't have the resources or the skill set to produce that. But I think it is going to be more than enough, so that's good. But yeah, just talking about that stuff. And I was planning on getting into it in a different video, and I'm going to do that, so I'm not going to really jump into it here. But obviously, when you're talking about like trauma, and I mean mental health in general, it's just going to be kind of uncomfortable, especially when it's a topic that is not really understood well or has been received well in the past. So yeah, I'm a bit nervous about that. But yeah, I know it's really important. And I know I'm like sitting on something that's very important, and I don't mean that in the sense where I'm like, I'm doing this really cool thing and I'm like, it's more just like, wow, like this is really needed as a resource, like to pass up making this would be, I don't know, like, damn, I guess that's the only way I could put it. That's not very articulate, and I don't know if it made sense. But going back to being anxious, and the past few days with like anxiety has been a little bit higher, and the reason for that is I just started Cymbalta. So the reason I'm talking about this on here is because I talked about it before, and I think too we just need more like, I think sometimes it's helpful to just have like discourse on something, even if it's not like, I don't know if I have like a positive message to share about antidepressants. It's really just like, hey, this is what it's looked like for me, because I think the way that they're presented is it's been pretty polarized. Like, there's people who are, I feel like in the older generations are really quick to be like, you're pumping drugs into your body and you're a zombie now, and like that's obviously not true. But then also I think our generation, and two, kind of just with mental health in general, it's almost been like over normalized. And what I mean is like, when, I guess my perspective on things is like, taking medication, you should not be ashamed, it should not be stigmatized, but you are obviously, whenever you're putting something into your body, like, research it, because there are side effects that are not pleasant, and not everybody reacts well. So it is just something that you have to kind of do consciously, and I think that's the kind of portrait I'm trying to paint when I talk about antidepressants. And see, little side note, by the way, I did finish the antidepressant piece and I submitted it for review. I may submit it again because I think they maybe missed it, but and the reason they may have missed it is because they accidentally published it back in November, and which is, I don't know how that happened, because I didn't hit submit for review, and I'm not saying this like, why did they like made a mistake. It's just, I honestly, I thought it was funny because like the second to last paragraph ended in the middle of a sentence. So I'm like, how did this get out there? And then I went to check on it and it had like 200 views, and I was like, oh God. So that was kind of a little embarrassing. But yeah, so, and if it doesn't get published, if I don't know, if I don't find a way to reach them, because it's for my old school that I still write for, I'll just put it on my own blog and it'll get less views, but it's fine. It was really just about, again, like painting a nuanced portrait of antidepressants from Gen Z's perspective, because I think we haven't had a huge voice in that discussion. It's usually just like older adults being like, this is bad for this reason. So yeah, and shout out to the people, I guess I don't know if I should say their names, but the three people in the article, their names are in the article, but that I kind of use their stories to tell the bigger story. So shout out to them for that, because that was really, thank you. And everyone who filled out like the survey. I know I said I was gonna attach it in the article, I just didn't get a chance to like put them into like a document format, just because things have been kind of hectic. So I definitely want to share them down the line. It's just gonna take me a little bit more time. But yeah, back to starting Cymbalta. So I know I talked about in December how I was like in a really, really rough patch. And during that rough patch, I called my psychiatrist and I made an appointment, but for the appointments there, it's like a month out. So I didn't get into like, I think last week sometime. And, oh, now I know what I was going to talk about, but I'll get to it. So I went to my psychiatrist and I told him, like, I was just like, yeah, I really don't want to be on meds, but I think that might be like the best option for me. Just because I deal with like these highs and lows a lot. And so he prescribed me Cymbalta and was like, if you want to take it, it's there. And so I was like, okay. And I don't know how long I had it, like less than a week, I guess, before I decided to start taking it 2 days ago. Because again, like I said, I had just like an uptick in anxiety, and I don't know, I just didn't want to like suffer through my last semester. So and it was interesting too, and I kind of had like an epiphany when I was talking about my mood, like I've talked about this before, how I can go like from 0 to 100, and not in the sense of like being like really like lashing out at people. Like I think I maintain like an external homeostasis really well, but on the inside there is like a lot of like oscillating there, and I don't obviously like it because it's just kind of hard to, I don't know, it just makes life hard. And I was telling him about that because I thought that I was like, what's going on? Not like what's wrong with me, but like what's causing this? Because for a long time I thought maybe I had like an underlying mood disorder. And he was like, no, that's really just like PTSD. And it was just weird hearing, I don't know. I guess the epiphany that I had was just like kind of maybe under calculating like the effect this disorder has had on my life. Just because, yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was just like a weird moment for me. But yeah, I started Cymbalta, and I feel kind of like I'll like randomly get like really nauseous and then I'm like fine. And I'll randomly get like really anxious and then I'll be fine. And the nice thing about Cymbalta is it's like fast acting, so I'll know in a couple weeks whether or not it's working. But yeah, and I don't feel as upset about starting another antidepressant as I thought I was going to. Just because, I don't know. Again, it's like we really need to like remove the stigma from antidepressants that like you're weak for taking them, or that you're, I don't know, giving up. Like it's a matter of like, for me it's just like I want to enjoy my life more, and if there's like tools out there that can help you do that, then like try it, try it out. So yeah, if you're taking meds, you're not alone, and it's okay. So yeah, I'm hoping these would work because I really need, I think I'm gonna need some extra help to get through this last semester. And the goal is to obviously not be on meds forever, just because that's my personal choice. I'd rather live life without meds, because they, like I've said before, they do kind of have like a blunting effect that I don't like. But yeah, I don't know. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I was gonna add. I don't know if there's any other production updates, other than, yeah, just getting, I feel like there's a big update, but I'm missing it, I guess, other than just getting into that conference. Yeah, I'm still debating, because just kind of scary. And lately I've just been like making my peace with the fact that I don't have to like push myself all the time. I don't know if I brought it up before, but the episode of Diane in BoJack Horseman, Good Damage, that is like my life's anthem. Just because I feel like, sometimes I almost feel like I'm exploiting myself, which I feel like I don't even have to explain that with the amount of things that I've like put on the internet. And I don't think, well, exploiting yourself isn't a bad thing, but I mean like sharing things, I don't think that's bad. Like everything, I think this is kind of a different soapbox of mine, but I don't think people should ever be like looked down upon for just like being honest about certain things. I mean, there's some things that it's like don't share on the internet, like, and I feel like we'll see that with TikTok. Like, I'm trying to think, I don't even know. I feel like I don't even have to go into an example. Like, I feel like people can just figure it out. But when you're talking like openly about like, I I don't know, what's a good example? Like intrusive thoughts, for example, is something I think that's pretty taboo. And I feel like it's the kind of thing that like people would be like, why would you post about, using a real life example that I posted about, like feeling like you're a sexual predator? Like, why would you say that? And the reason being is just like life is short and people already feel so lonely as it is. Like, and for me, I'm mostly comfortable with being honest. Lately, for whatever reason, I've been like more self-conscious. I think because I'm more aware that, I don't know, yeah, just like people are actually watching you online. I learned that the hard way when I posted a TikTok and it went semi-viral, and people said that I looked like the dream YouTuber. People kept commenting that, and then I was like, wow, that's rough. Not because I think he's ugly, but like, I just know that after he posted his face reveal, literally hashtag he's ugly was trending in America. So I feel like it's never a good sign when you get compared to that. But yeah, what I was saying was, I just think it's stupid that like, I don't know, I grew up like hearing that, like being like, why would you share that? Like, why would you say that? And it was never anything bad. Like, it was literally just me like talking openly about like struggling with depression or with an eating disorder. And it was never like, whenever I would share, and this is something that I've always tried to do, and hopefully this comes across my work, like whenever I'm sharing something personal like that, it's never so people will like text me and be like, oh my God, are you okay? You know, like it's literally just so people can see that and be like, oh, like, hey, that's me too. Like I can relate to that. Cause I don't know, I think we need more of that. Just because, yeah, life is hard enough as it is. That's coming from someone who has an easy life. Just kidding. I've been through things, but I feel really like blessed and lucky. And I think the fact that I can sit down and make a video talking about that is pretty solid evidence of that. So it's something I try to take advantage of, you know? Because again, I just think talking about stuff is it's very helpful, and it alleviates a lot of feelings of like alienation, especially in the digital age where there's a lot of, I feel like that's been compounded with stuff like social media and phones and everything else, and that's not a new idea. But yeah, and especially too, because like people will like, I think fake, not, I don't want to, because I don't want to be like I don't know, I don't want to speak for someone else or like act like I know everyone's intentions, because I don't. But I think we do kind of like fake authenticity almost, and it's not like with malicious intent, but it's like cool to appear like, I don't know, not down to earth, but just it's cool to like appear real. But I still feel like a lot of it is like an act. And again, I'm not saying that to be like judgmental. I'm sure I contribute to that problem. I do. Even if it's not intentional. Again, I think we do it subconsciously. Like as humans, we're social creatures. We're always trying to fit in with the people around us, you know, whether we want to admit that to ourselves or not. So yeah, and I think that just like adds to feelings of alienation, because we don't often really talk about like the dark stuff, you know. You only really see that in like anonymous online forums, and I think that says something, like the fact that it's like anonymous spaces where people only feel comfortable talking about that stuff, or like behind closed doors. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like you don't have to get like on the internet and make a vlog and talk about, you know, I don't know, the heaviest stuff you ever dealt with. Like that's not helpful for everyone. Like that's not how everybody heals. But like I think if you can share stuff and that's something that has a positive impact on you, then go for it, because I'm sure it's gonna have a positive impact on someone else. Yeah, I don't know if that was just a bunch of word salad, but I guess what I'm getting at is like, I think it's good to like share our stories, and I think it's good to share the things that are uncomfortable and taboo. And I don't think we should be looked down upon for that, you know? Because it's like, you do it too. Why am I getting penalized, you know? Like, we should talk about it. Yeah, there's so many things that we don't talk about. And I think, I don't know, this would be a whole nother video, but just like, sometimes I worry about like the direction that like the mental health movement has gone and is going, just because I feel like it's not maybe super productive. And I think we're still kind of, And maybe it is a matter of just, you kind of have to gradually make your way there, but I still feel like we really shy away from talking about the darker parts of mental illness, you know? Again, like, I think intrusive thoughts is like a great example of that, because it's something that literally most people deal with, like, not chronically, but I think there was a study, and I know that I put it in the description of, I think, the video of me and Maddie talking about POCD, which stands for pedophile OCD, and intrusive thoughts, or at the very least I put the statistic in a LinkedIn post, so if you go to my LinkedIn you'll see it. But it was something like 90% of people have had intrusive thoughts, and most people who have intrusive thoughts don't have like an underlying disorder. It's just, again, it's a manifestation of anxiety, and all humans have like some degree of anxiety because it keeps us alive. It's just the point where it gets to interfering with your daily life that it becomes like a problem. So yeah, but I don't know where I was going with this, but I think, I don't know, hopefully that was helpful. Yeah, so I guess the big recap is I'm gonna be 22 soon. I'm awkward, and just kidding. I'm gonna crop that out because I know people are gonna bully me for saying that. You can't do anything as a woman these days, because, like, I don't know, that's a whole nother. I think that's everything. Again, I feel like there was another update for the film, but I guess not. Oh, there is, I just remembered it. I transcribed the scholars interview, so I think I'm gonna use the interview we did with Rooted Lancaster, which I always wanted to. It was just a matter of my professor was like, I don't like the framing of this, and he wanted us to reshoot it. But again, I think the content was great from that interview. So, and that's kind of like the only thing that matters. Like, it's not, this film isn't something that I'm making to like win awards. Like, I really just want to make a resource. Like, I think the main goal is just going to be disseminating to like therapists and people who are involved in spreading trauma awareness. So hi, it's my cat. So yeah, but yeah, so I have the conference. Maybe I'll go. I'm looking forward to looking back on this video in like 6 months and seeing what I ended up doing. And either way, I'm making my peace with the fact that it's okay if I did go or I didn't go, you know? I don't think we have to make ourselves miserable, you know? Sometimes it's okay to say no, and it's okay to, I don't know, cop out, so to speak, as my dad would say. I don't know, yeah. I think I'm done, and I think I'm tired, and I think I'm gonna go to bed.